There are moments in life where everything feels like it's closing in on you. The walls feel tight. The room seems dark. The pressure is so heavy you can't even put it into words. You smile in public, but you're crying inside. You go to work, handle your responsibilities, check off the boxes, but your heart is weary. Your soul is stretched, and you're wondering how much longer you can carry this weight. That's the kind of stress that can either break you or make you. But I came to tell you today, this stress you're feeling is not the end. It's not the finish line. It's the setup for something greater. It's not just pressure, it's preparation. God is about to turn what was meant to crush you into something that will crown you. Stress can make you feel like you're all alone, like no one understands. But even when no one else sees the tears you cry in the dark, God does. He sees the pain behind your strength. He hears the prayers you whisper under your breath. And more than that, He's not ignoring you. He's working, He's moving, and He's aligning things behind the scenes. Often the teacher is silent during the test. That doesn't mean he left the room. It means he's watching you handle what he knows you're strong enough to walk through. Stress is not always a sign that something's wrong. Sometimes it's proof that something is about to shift. You are growing in ways you can't see yet. Your endurance is increasing. Your faith is being forged in fire. Every sleepless night, every heartbreak, every time you've kept going when you wanted to quit, those aren't wasted moments. Those are divine deposits. Heaven keeps record of every tear. And for every ounce of pain, there is a pound of blessing coming back to you. God never wastes suffering. What the enemy meant for evil, God will turn for good. The very thing that stressed you out the most may become the exact area where you see your greatest blessing. When Joseph was thrown in the pit by his brothers, when he was falsely accused and locked in prison, do you think he felt blessed? Of course not. But God was using all of that stress to set him up for the palace. Had he not been betrayed, had he not been imprisoned, he never would have been positioned to be promoted. Some of you are in that same process right now. It feels unfair. It feels like you're being overlooked, but you're not being overlooked. You're being hidden for the right time. God is maturing you in secret so He can bless you in public. Don't curse the process. What you call stress, God calls. You see, the oil that anoints doesn't come without pressure. Grapes don't become wine until they're crushed. Diamonds don't form without intense heat. And your calling won't come alive without some trials. The stress you're feeling is not a sign that God forgot you. It's a sign that He's forming something in you. You're being refined. Your character is being built. Your voice is being sharp. And when the time is right, what has been pressing on you will be the very thing that propels you forward. I know it's hard. I know you're tired, but don't give up. God has not brought you this far to leave you. He didn't invest all this time in you just to let you fail now. The storm you're in will not sink you. It's going to strengthen you. You may feel like you're breaking, but you're not breaking down, you're breaking through. Keep pushing, keep praying, keep believing, because when God gets ready to bless you, He doesn't ask for permission. He doesn't consult your stress level. He shows up, He opens the door, and He makes a way where there was no way. And He's about to do that for you. What if I told you the blessing was closer than you think? What if everything you've been through, the pain, the pressure, the loneliness, the fear, what if all of it has been leading up to a moment that will change everything? That breakthrough you've been praying for is already on its way. That miracle you thought was taking too long, it's coming right on time. You're not behind. You're right where you need to be. Stress may be the season you're in, but blessing is the harvest that's coming. God has a habit of showing up right when things seem impossible. He waits until the odds are stacked so high that nobody but him could get the glory. So if you're surrounded, if you're stressed, if you're standing at the edge wondering how you're going to make it through, then you're a perfect candidate for a miracle. There's another in the fire with you, and when you come out of this, you won't even smell like smoke. God is not just going to bring you through it, he's going to elevate you because of it. Sometimes God allows stress so he can strip away everything that was never meant to stay. Stress will show you who you really are, but more importantly, it reveals who God really is. He's not just the God of calm seas. He's the God who walks on water in the middle of your storm. He's not just the God of peace. He's the God who gives you strength when you feel like quitting. And if you brought you to it, you are not here by accident. You are not suffering without reason. God is using every bit of it to shape your destiny. So today, make a decision. Don't let the stress steal your song. Don't let the pressure steal your praise. Worship even when it hurts. Smile even when you're tired. Speak life even when it feels like death is all around you. That's what faith looks like. That's what strength looks like. That's the posture of someone who knows that something greater is coming. And something is coming. You've cried, you've stretched, you've grown, you've matured, and now the blessing is about to be released. You might not see it yet, but in the spiritual realm, things are shifting. The doors are unlocking. The chains are breaking. The right people are being aligned. The right opportunities are being released. And all of it is connected to your obedience in the stressful moments. Because you didn't give up, you're going to go up. Because you stayed faithful, God is going to be faithful to you in ways that blow your mind. You thought you were under attack, but really you were under construction. And the foundation that's been laid through your tears is about to support a blessing so big, you'll look back and say, if I hadn't gone through that, I never would have gotten this. That's what God does. He takes your stress and turns it into strength. He takes your breakdowns and builds something beautiful from the rubble. What the enemy meant to destroy you, God is using to develop you. And your best days are still ahead. So keep your head up. Keep your spirit alive. You are walking through a chapter, not the whole story. This is not your ending. It's just a plot twist. The author is still writing, and the next page is filled with favor. God is not finished with you yet. Don't lose hope. Don't let stress convince you that it's over. It's not over. In fact, you're closer than ever. You're one prayer away, one decision away, one step away from seeing the blessing that's been prepared for you. And when it comes, because it will come, you won't be surprised. You'll be ready. You'll walk into it stronger, wiser, and more grateful than ever before. Because you'll know what it took. You remember the nights you almost gave up. You remember the stress, the struggle, the silence. And you lift your hands and say, God, thank you, because what I thought was breaking me was actually blessing. Is something powerful about knowing you're seen, not just noticed, but truly seen, not just when you're smiling. in front of people, not just when you're celebrating a win, but seen in the moments when you feel invisible, seen in the moments when no one is calling, no one is checking in, and you're carrying the weight of a world that no one knows about. I want you to know something deep in your spirit today. God sees you. He sees the tears you cry behind closed doors. He sees the silent battles, the things you don't post about, the nights you lay awake wondering if you're enough. You may feel overlooked by people, but you're not overlooked by heaven. You may be fighting in silence, but your cries are loud in the throne room of God. There are struggles you carry that would shock people if they knew. You've mastered the art of functioning while bleeding, smiling while suffering, encouraging others while you're barely holding it together. You show up for everyone else while secretly wondering when someone will show up for you. But I came to remind you, God sees what nobody else does. He hears the cry of your heart that never even makes it past your lips. He sees the weight on your shoulders, the anxiety that grips you, the questions that torment your mind. He knows the silent frustration you feel when things don't seem to change, no matter how hard you pray. And even in those moments, He is with you, not distant, not indifferent, but close. Close to the brokenhearted, present in the pain, active in the silence. It's easy to feel like God is quiet because He's not moving. But I want you to understand this. God doesn't have to be loud to be working. Sometimes His greatest work is done in silence. When Jesus was in the tomb, there was no movement on the outside, but on the inside, the greatest shift in human history was taking place. Resurrection doesn't always start with fireworks. It starts in darkness. You might be in a dark season, in a place where it feels like your prayers are hitting the ceiling, like your efforts are in vain, like the more you try to do right, the worse things get. But the truth is, that season is not the evidence of God's absence. It's the evidence that you're in the middle of your process. Sometimes your greatest transformation comes in the moments when you feel the most alone. God doesn't always show up the way we expect. He doesn't always speak in shouts. Sometimes He whispers, and other times He just sits with you in the silence. And if you pay attention, you'll realize that even in your worst moments, you weren't abandoned. Even in the heartbreak, He was there. Even in the betrayal, He was there. Even when you didn't feel strong enough to pray, your groans reached Him. Because you don't need perfect words to get heaven's attention. He hears brokenness. He listens to your silence like a love song, because to Him you matter that much. You don't have to pretend to be okay for God. He's not afraid of your mess. You don't have to clean yourself up before coming to Him. He sees the real you, the raw, the unfiltered, the exhausted, and He still chooses to love you, walk with you, and fight for you. That's the kind of God you serve. He's not like people who only come around when you're winning. He's the God who stays when the room is empty, when the lights are off, when the spotlight is gone. He stays in your shadows. He walks with you through the valley, and not for a moment does He stop watching over you. That secret battle you're fighting, the one you haven't told anyone about, that battle is not hidden from God. He knows the weight it puts on your chest. He knows how many times you've smiled in public and cried in private. He knows how much strength it takes just to get out of bed some days. And because He sees it, He will honor it. Nothing you go through in silence will go unrewarded. He is not blind to your effort. He is not deaf to your pain. He is not late to your rescue. Every silent battle is building a strength in you that noise could never give. Every tear is watering the soil for your harvest. You don't have to scream to be heard by God. He hears the whisper, "Help me." He hears the unspoken, "I can't do this anymore." And he moves on your behalf even when you don't see the results right away. Some blessings are being prepared in silence, not because God is ignoring you, but because he's building something in you that's bigger than the stress you're facing. Don't mistake his silence for his absence. Heaven is working behind the scenes. Angels are being assigned. Doors are being unlocked. Hearts are being stirred. The right people are being placed in your path. And all because you've continued to believe in the quiet. There is a reward for silent endurance. There is honor for those who worship in the dark. There is a blessing coming to those who didn't give up when it would have been easy to. That silent battle is birthing something powerful. You are becoming someone that stress cannot break. You are being molded into a vessel that can carry more than you ever imagined. And very soon, what's been stressing you is going to become your testimony. The very thing that made you weep will be the reason you praise. The situation that's been draining you will be the place God fills with his glory. I need you to know today that you're not forgotten, you're not overlooked, you're not abandoned. God sees you. And not just the version of you that everyone else sees. He sees the version of you that wakes up anxious, the version that doubts your worth, the version that tries to be strong for everyone else while you're crumbling inside. And he still calls you worthy, still calls you chosen, still calls you loved. That should give you strength. That should give you peace, because you're not fighting alone. You never were. So don't lose heart in the silence. Don't walk away in the stress. Don't give up in the valley, because even when you don't feel him, he's there. Even when you can't hear him, he's speaking through circumstances, through alignment, through divine delays. And very soon, the same God who saw your silent battle is going to give you a public blessing. The same God who walked with you in secret will reward you open. And when that moment comes, it will all make sense. You'll see that not one tear was wasted. Not one prayer was unheard. Not one battle was fought in vain. There's something people rarely talk about: what it costs to carry the weight you're carrying. Everyone sees the surface, the job you show up to, the people you encourage, the responsibilities you fulfill. But most people don't see the weight you bear silently. They don't see the burden that follows you home. They don't see how much effort it takes to hold your head up when your heart is tired. But God sees it. And what's even more powerful, he's not wasting it. The burden you carry isn't pointless. It's not punishment, it's preparation. The weight you're carrying is not meant to crush you, it's training you. It's developing strength in you that can't be built in comfort, because the blessing that's coming is heavy. And God is preparing you to be strong enough to hold it. You see, we often pray for blessings, but we don't realize the blessings come with responsibility. Favor sounds beautiful until you realize it will cost you comfort. Increase is wonderful until you realize it requires capacity. And that's what this burden is doing. It's stretching your capacity. You're being enlarged, not destroyed. You're being expanded, not overlooked. You're carrying something right now that may feel too heavy, but it's not going to break you. It's going to build you. That burden you're carrying today is proof that a blessing is on the way tomorrow. And not just any blessing, but one that's tailored to your struggle. One that matches the weight of your pain. There are some blessings that can only come after the burden. Just like a mother has to carry weight before she delivers a child, you have to carry spiritual weight before you deliver destiny. You have to walk through seasons that feel too dark, too lonely, too heavy, because that is where God grows what he wants to give you. You're not being punished, you're being positioned. Every late night you endured, every moment you questioned your purpose, every task you carried when your soul was worn out, it all has a purpose. God does not allow a single ounce of pain without packing it with purpose. And when the blessing comes, you'll understand why you had to carry so much. Some of the people around you won't get it. They'll think you're just stressed. They'll say you're too serious, too tired, too different. But they don't know what you're carrying. They don't know that you're pregnant with promise. They don't know that you've been marked by heaven for something greater. So you can't expect everyone to support you. Don't expect everyone to understand the weight. Some people will walk away, and that's okay. Their absence is part of the preparation, because some burdens are too sacred to be shared with just anybody. God will allow isolation so he can speak to you privately, because what he's about to release in your life isn't for the crowd, it's for the called. Don't despise the burden. Don't run from it, because every step you take under that weight is strengthening your spirit. Every time you press forward under pressure, you're growing muscles that will carry miracles. You're learning how to carry more peace, more purpose, more power. God is building a foundation that can hold more favor, because favor without strength can crush a person. But God is too wise to give you something. So he's making sure that when the blessing comes, it won't break you. It'll bless you and everyone connected to you. Maybe you're carrying the burden of responsibility. You're the one holding the family together. You're the one pushing through grief, smiling through pain, still showing up while carrying trauma that no one sees. Or maybe you're carrying the burden of delay, prayers that haven't been answered yet, promises that seem like they're taking forever to come to pass. But hear me, just because it's delayed doesn't mean it's denied. Some burdens last longer because the blessing is bigger. Some journeys take more time because what's waiting at the end is more than you imagined. God is not making you wait to hurt you. He's making you wait to prepare you, because when it arrives, it won't be a small thing. It'll be a door so big only a burdened heart could walk through it with gratitude. And yes, it hurts. Yes, there are days when you want to quit, days when you feel like the burden is too much. But don't give up now. You've come too far. You've carried too much. This is not the time to stop. This is the time to stand. Stand on every promise God gave you. Stand on the truth that he is not a man that he should lie. Stand on the belief that every tear has been counted and every ounce of stress has been weighed, and the blessing coming will match the burden you carry. In fact, it will exceed it, because that's the kind of God he is. He doesn't just restore, he multiplies. So hold on, keep walking, keep carrying, because you're not just holding stress, you're holding purpose. You're not just carrying pain, you're carrying a prophecy. The weight you feel isn't random, it's divine. And soon, what's been pressing on you will break open the heavens above you, and people will look at your life and say, how did they survive that? And you'll say, it wasn't me, it was God. And every burden I carried was making room for the blessing I now see. God didn't let you carry all of this to leave you empty. No, he allowed it so that when the blessing comes, you'll know exactly who brought you through. You won't take the credit. You won't point to your strength. You'll point to his. And that's when you'll realize This weight wasn't breaking me, it was building me. It was making me ready. And now I'm not just carrying the burden, I'm carrying the burden. Life doesn't go the way you planned it. You had a timeline, a dream, a route in your mind, but then it got delayed. The door you thought would open didn't. The person you thought would stay left. The opportunity you were sure was yours slipped through your hands. And it didn't just leave you confused, it left you questioning everything, wondering if maybe you just weren't enough. But I want to speak directly to that place of doubt today and remind you, delays, disappointments, and detours are not the end. They're divine redirections. What feels like a setback is often a setup for something greater. What feels like rejection is often God's protection. You see, your life is not random. The twists and turns may feel chaotic, but from heaven's perspective, it's all part of the map. The delay you're frustrated about isn't wasted time. It's preparation time. God knows what's up ahead, and sometimes the delay is Him slowing you down so you don't crash into something you can't handle. The disappointment you faced, that closed door, it wasn't a punishment. It was God's way of saying, that wasn't it, I've got something better. But we often get so attached to what we wanted, we don't realize that if God allowed it to slip away, it was never meant to stay. And we grieve what we lost instead of trusting what God is leading us toward. Divine redirection rarely feels good in the moment. It feels like failure. It feels like confusion. It feels like standing in the middle of nowhere with no map. But that's often where God does His greatest work. That's where He strips away your plans so He can reveal His. That's where He interrupts your comfort to introduce your calling. Think about it. If everything had gone the way you wanted, you wouldn't be the person you are today. The heartbreak matured you. The waiting taught you patience. The detour revealed strength in you that you never would have found on the smooth road. And that's the point. God doesn't just want to get you there. He wants to shape who you are when you arrive. It's easy to trust God when everything's flowing, but can you trust Him when the road shifts? Can you believe He's good when the timeline breaks? Can you hold on when the destination is unknown and all you've got is a word? That's where real faith is born. Not in the mountaintop victories, but in the valley where you have to walk by faith, not sight. When God closes a door, we often beg Him to open it again. But He's trying to redirect your steps towards something you never would have found on your own. And if you keep trying to go back to what He closed, you'll miss the beauty of where He's trying to lead you. The problem with disappointment is that it talks loud. It tells you you're forgotten. It tells you you've failed. It tells you you're behind. But the truth is, you're not behind. You're being aligned. You're not forgotten. You're being refined. That delay was necessary. That detour wasn't random. It was protection. It might have looked like you were going in circles, but God was leading you away from danger and toward destiny. Every no you heard was God getting you to the right yes. Every person who walked away was making space for someone better. Every plan that didn't work out was setting the stage for a bigger breakthrough. Some of the greatest blessings you'll ever receive won't come through straight paths. They'll come through interruptions, through wrong turns that led to the right places, through pain that pushed you closer to your purpose. Sometimes the greatest doors you'll ever walk through will come after a divine detour. You didn't miss it. You're not lost. You're just being rerouted. Think about a GPS. When you take a wrong turn, it doesn't scream at you or quit. It simply says, that's what God is doing in your life. He's recalculating, redirecting, not because He's mad, but because He's merciful. You didn't lose time. You gained wisdom. You didn't miss your moment. You're being made ready for it. And the blessing will still be yours, but you'll receive it from a stronger place with a deeper faith and a heart that knows the value of trust. The delay didn't change the promise, it just deepened your character. The disappointment didn't cancel your future, it rerouted you through a better path, because God doesn't just lead us to blessing, he leads us through the path that ensures we can carry the blessing when it comes. If you feel like your life has taken a left turn, if you're wondering why things haven't happened yet, if you're frustrated with how long it's taking, I want you to breathe and trust this truth. You are in the hands of a God who sees the end from the beginning. He's not just trying to give you something, he's trying to grow something in you. If you could see what he sees, you'd be thanking him for the closed doors just as much as the open ones. You'd praise him for the delays just as much as the arrivals, because you'd see it clearly. This was never a detour. This was the divine route all along. So don't curse the delay. Don't quit in the disappointment. Don't get bitter because of the detour. God is doing something behind the scenes that you won't understand until later. And when that moment comes, when the promise unfolds, when the door opens, when the dream is fulfilled, you'll look back and realize, I wasn't being denied, I was being directed, and it will all make sense. Every tear, every closed door, every silent night, every not yet, it was God guiding you, not away from your purpose, but straight into it. There comes a point in life where everything starts to shake. Your confidence, your peace, your plans. You start to feel like the ground beneath you is giving way, like nothing is stable anymore. You're overwhelmed, exhausted, and wondering how much more you can take. That right there is what we often call a breakdown. And it's in that space when everything feels like it's falling apart that God is often doing his most powerful work. Because what feels like a breakdown is not the end. It's not a signal to give up. It's not a death sentence to your dreams. In fact, it's often the exact place where breakthrough begins. That low moment, that quiet collapse of strength, that dark night of the soul, that's the birthing place of something greater. The reason it feels so intense, so unbearable, is because something inside of you is being broken open, not broken down. You see, when God wants to do something new in your life, he often starts by disrupting what's comfortable. He allows the pressure to build. He allows the questions to rise. He allows the weight to get heavy, not because he wants to destroy you, but because he wants to deliver you. You can't step into a breakthrough still holding on to everything that was weighing you down. Sometimes the breakdown is simply the breaking off of fear, of pride, of control, of doubt, so that you can step into a new level of faith, purpose, and freedom. There are seasons when everything familiar begins to fall apart. The job changes, the relationship ends, the finances dry up, the plans don't work. And in those moments, it's easy to think that God has forgotten you. But what if that breakdown was God's way of saying, I'm about to build something new? What if the breaking is clearing the ground for the breakthrough? You wouldn't build a skyscraper on top of a crumbling foundation. You'd clear the land and start afresh. And that's exactly what God does in our lives. He breaks down what was built in our own strength so he can rebuild with his. Don't run from the breakdown. Don't fear it. Face it, because it's there in the pain, in the tears, in the silence, that something sacred is happening. Your roots are going deeper. Your spirit is being refined. Your dependency on people, systems, and comfort is being stripped away so that your faith can be strengthened in the only one who never changes. A breakthrough is not always loud. Sometimes it starts in a whisper. In the middle of your worst night, in the middle of your deepest hurt, in the place where you feel like giving up, and then something inside says, keep going. That's the start. That's the shift. And when you look back, you'll realize the night you thought you lost everything was actually the night God saved you from what was never meant to go with you. It's okay to cry. It's okay to feel weak. But don't confuse breaking down with being broken forever. God doesn't leave his children in the rubble. He rebuilds, he restores, he redeems, and he uses the very ashes of what was lost to construct something even greater. So if your life feels like it's in pieces right now, trust that those pieces are in the hands of a master builder. God is not intimidated by your pain. He's not scared of your questions. He's not put off by your tears. In fact, those are the very things he uses to build a deeper relationship with you, to open new doors, to stretch your vision, and to prepare you for the breakthrough that's coming. Many of the people you admire, those with powerful stories, strong faith, and undeniable purpose, walked through seasons of complete breakdown. They didn't arrive where they are through ease. They got there through fire, through loss, through silence, through wrestling with God in the dark. But they didn't give up, and neither should you. Because what you're going through is not unique to destruction. It's common. Butterflies don't emerge fully formed. They have to break out of the cocoon. And that process looks violent, ugly, painful, but it's necessary for flight. What you're going through might not look pretty. It might feel chaotic, but it's producing wings. Sometimes God will allow a breakdown so that you stop relying on broken systems. You've been trying to hold it all together by yourself. You've been trying to please everyone, fix everything, carry more than your soul can bear, and the breakdown is your soul crying out for healing. It's a divine invitation to rest, to release, to surrender. You were never meant to be your own savior. That's why it feels like it's falling apart, because it's not supposed to be built by you alone. God wants in. And he often uses the breakdown to get your attention, not to punish you, but to protect you from carrying burdens that were never yours. Think of the breakdown like labor pains. Painful, yes, but they're not pointless. They're announcing something is coming, something is about to be born, and the more intense the pain, the closer the promise. You might be crying, questioning, barely holding on, but don't you dare let go. Your breakthrough is near, and when it comes, it's going to make sense. The pain, the confusion, the wilderness, it will all reveal its purpose. You'll see that what felt like the end was actually the beginning of a powerful new season. You are not weak because you feel like you're breaking. You're human. And humans reach limits, but God is limitless. And he steps in when we're at the end of ourselves. So if you're there at the end of your strength, your answers, your options, congratulations. You're in the perfect position for a breakthrough, because God does his best work in the darkest places. He resurrects, he renews, he revives, and he's about to do it in your life. That breakdown didn't disqualify you. It prepared you. So breathe. Don't panic. Let go of the shame. Let go of the fear. Let go of the idea that you have to be perfect or strong every second. Just be real, be honest, and let God carry you through the breaking into the breakthrough. Because when you come out of this, and you will, you'll be wiser, stronger, deeper, and you'll know that the breakdown was never the end. It was the beginning of the most beautiful breakthrough of your life.